Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about compound exercises. I'm going to talk about isolation exercises. I'm going to demystify them. Somebody asked me a question. Does such and such a back exercise, a dumbbell row, hit the lat? So I want to talk about the whole mindset in bodybuilding, in powerlifting, how we try to turn compounds into isolations, isolations into compounds, how we overcomplicate exercises. Before I do so, if you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. Come on over, submit your questions. The best questions I turn into videos just like this. So, the other day I was sitting around drinking a beers. That was plural. And somebody sent me a message and said, hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, I know you recommend doing a row and a pull down for back. Does the row hit your lats? Now, let me explain the back a little bit. You have two different planes. You have a horizontal plane where you're pulling, and then you have a vertical where you're pulling towards your chest. It's the opposite of a push or a bench press or a chest movement. And then you have a vertical pull down, which is the opposite of a vertical press. So you have a shoulder movement and you have kind of a lat pull down movement. So I recommend those two types of exercises as a staple for back training along with a deadlift variation. So most people tend to associate pull downs, lat pull downs and pull ups with lats and then rows with the rest of the muscles in the back, like somehow they are separated. I want to tell you guys that this is a cancer created by the bodybuilding culture, and it is a cancer that needs to die. Compound exercises are compound. They use multiple muscle groups. The bodybuilding mindset likes to put things in body part splits. So they like to put like whatever exercise you're doing, like a lat pull down, into a box that says it works the lats. And then people walk around planet Earth like mindless drones, thinking that the only muscle group that these target are that exercise. Like lat pull downs are for the lats, and front squats are for the quads, and all kinds of this kind of nonsense. It's simply not true. The bodybuilding culture likes to turn compound movements into isolation movements, and the average Joe or Jane walks around and says, this exercise is for this muscle group, and they forget it's a freaking compound movement. It targets multiple muscle groups. On the other hand, when you look at isolation exercises, the cancerous, sometimes cancerous bodybuilding culture will like to turn isolation movements into compound movements. They'll like to slow down the isolation exercise and get a feel let's look at dumbbell flies, for example, or lateral raises. Instead of keeping the exercises light, as most isolations are, and trying just to feel the isolated muscle group, you'll see the bodybuilding culture take this isolation exercise like a seated dumbbell lateral raise, and they'll load it up with just way too much weight, and they're just jerking it, and they're turning it into a compound movement. The same goes with dumbbell flies. Instead of just doing the quality isolation movement, they'll start just changing the exercise and loading up the weight and overstressing the isolation exercise so they look ridiculous and turning it into a de facto compound exercise. So the bodybuilding culture, the history of bodybuilding is kind of a crazy, wacky, dysfunctional group in that sense. They have trained us to turn compound movements, think of compound movements in terms of isolations. And on the other hand, when they do isolations, they load those suckers up with so much weight, they turn them into compound movements. So it is a big, big mind mess. So basically, the point of this video is when you're doing compound exercises, don't forget that they target multiple muscle groups. This cancer can creep into like full body workouts. And guys will say, you know, you'll get, or it will creep into the full body versus split mindset. Like, let's say you're doing the bench press, you know, in a full body workout one day, and you're doing the machine chest press the next day, and the pec deck the next day. The bodybuilding, or this will creep into like the full body debates where, like, if you do a split, you're only targeting, you know, delts and triceps or chest once a week or whatever, or shoulders once a week or whatever, and they'll completely forget that compound movements are compound movements. When you're working your bench press, you're also working your shoulders. You know, when you're working your bench press, you're also working your triceps, so on and so forth. So I don't want to get into the full body split debate in this video, but it's imperative that we return to the understanding that compound movements are indeed compound movements. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, check out the link below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.